Welcome to the American Archive. Imagine a place so hidden, so completely cut off from the rest of civilization, that a single visit requires a grueling 6 to 10 day journey entirely by sea. There are no commercial airports to drop you from the clouds, and no deepwater harbors to welcome massive passenger liners. Instead, you are looking at hundreds and thousands of miles of violent, open, and entirely unpredictable ocean separating you from the rest of humanity. Today we pull back the curtain on the dark secrets, the fascinating history, and the unbelievable daily survival of Tristan da Cunha, officially recognized as the most remote, inhabited settlement on Earth. Volcanic isolation in the South Atlantic. Hidden deep in the absolute middle of the South Atlantic Ocean lies a volcanic landmass unlike anywhere else on the planet. Discovered in the 16th century by Portuguese explorer Tristan da Cunha, the island remained largely untouched for centuries, because it was practically unapproachable, because there is no airport and no natural deepwater harbor. Getting to this landmass is an extraordinary test of endurance. Travelers, scientists, and residents alike must endure a voyage of roughly 6 to 10 days by boat across some of the roughest, most treacherous waters on the globe. The inhabitants do not just live remotely. They live right beneath the shadow of a brooding, active volcano known as Queen Mary's Peak, confronting the elements. Surrounded by an endless expanse of ocean, the community faces severe, unrelenting weather patterns on a daily basis. High winds whip across the steep volcanic slopes, torrential rains batter the rocky coastline, and towering ocean swells crash against the shores, frequently cutting off the island from the outside world for weeks or even months at a time, cut off from the rapid pace, hyperconnectivity, and endless conveniences of the modern grid. The lifestyle here feels almost entirely forgotten by the modern world. Survival on Tristan da Cunha requires deep cooperation, absolute self-reliance, and a constant, unwavering adaptation to nature's raw, unfiltered power, founding an interdependent survival. The history of this isolated community is written in hardship, resilience, and survival against astronomical odds. Founded officially in the 19th century by a small handful of settlers and military personnel, the population grew slowly, binding itself together through sheer necessity. With a tiny population and extreme geographic barriers, social structures became tightly knit, unique and entirely self-sustaining. Families share resources, farm the limited volcanic soil, and fish the surrounding, dangerous waters just to maintain a baseline of daily living. The vulnerability of total isolation. However, this profound isolation brings unique and terrifying vulnerabilities. Medical emergencies present daily. Logistical nightmares that modern societies could never fathom. With no local hospital capable of handling major surgeries or complex critical care, residents are entirely dependent on rare ship visits or extreme medical evacuations, and that is only when the unpredictable weather permits a boat or helicopter to safely operate. Supply chains are notoriously fragile. If a scheduled cargo ship is delayed by violent ocean storms, the islanders must make do entirely with what they have stored locally. The 1961 eruption and forced exile. The dark secrets of Tristan da Cunha are tied not only to its isolation, but to the unpredictable earth beating beneath their feet. In October 1961, the earth rebelled against them. A parasitic volcanic cone erupted right beside the island's main settlement, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, threatening to consume the entire village and wipe their home off the map. In a desperate race against time, the entire population of over 250 people had to be evacuated in open fishing boats, leaving behind their homes, their livestock, and their entire way of life. They were transported first to neighboring uninhabited islands, then to Cape Town, and finally across the ocean to England, where they experienced the booming, alien consumer culture of the 1960s, defying the modern world. Yet astonishingly, most of the islanders hated the modern world. They found the crowded cities, the constant noise, and the fast, overwhelming pace of England completely unnatural. Whispers of returning home began almost immediately among the displaced community. By 1963, defying all expectations and ignoring the warnings of modern comfort, the resilient community successfully petitioned the British government to let them return to their volcanic wasteland. They came back to find their homes damaged, livestock roaming free, and the constant, lingering reminder that the ground beneath them could wake up and erupt at any given moment. Life on the unforgiving rock today. Today, roughly 250 resilient souls still call Tristan da Cunha home. They farm the flat volcanic strips known locally as the potato patches, maintain their own unique dialect, and manage a thriving, sustainable lobster industry that keeps them connected to the global economy by a very thin, fragile thread. Generations have chosen to remain on this unforgiving rock, bound together by community, heritage, and a profound, stubborn love for their isolated home. Passing down the legacy of endurance, Tristan da Cunha stands as a humbling, powerful reminder of nature's terrifying dominance and the unmatched strength of human endurance. Behind every crashing wave and hidden volcanic ridge lies a story of human perseverance that defies explanation. The descendants of those original settlers continue to guard their traditions with fierce loyalty, passing down survival skills from parent to child in a world where a single mistake can spell complete disaster, leaving them entirely at the mercy of the elements. The physically weight of solitude. Consider the sheer psychological weight of permanent isolation. When you look out past the harbor or gaze up at the towering cliffs, you are looking at natural boundaries that almost no ordinary outsiders ever cross. Ships arrive only a few times a year, meaning that letters, crucial news, and vital medical supplies are treated like absolute gold. The islanders have built an intricate system of mutual aid, where individualism takes a backseat to collective survival. If a roof needs repairing, neighbors show up without hesitation. If crops fail, supplies are pooled together equally. This radical interdependence is the true secret behind how a human settlement manages to persist in one of the most hostile environments known to modern science, the prehistoric wildlife. Furthermore, the natural wildlife surrounding the island adds another layer of bizarre beauty and absolute isolation. Millions of seabirds, penguins, and marine mammals use these volcanic shores as a sanctuary, completely unbothered by the tiny human footprint sharing their space. It creates an ecosystem that feels entirely prehistoric, untouched by the heavy industrial pollution and urban sprawl choking the rest of the planet. For anyone fortunate enough to catch a glimpse of it, Tristan da Cunha feels less like a real place on a standard, modern map and more like a lost chapter from an ancient adventure novel, waiting to be rediscovered by those willing to look past the horizon. Governance and quiet communities. Governed under the broader umbrella of St. Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha, the community operates with a local island council overseeing daily civic matters and land distribution. Despite the lack of formal police forces or complex legal systems, crime is virtually non-existent here because trust and accountability are absolute. When your neighbors are your only safety, net against the vast, dark emptiness of the South Atlantic Ocean. The economic thread to the world. The economy of the island, though heavily dependent on the crawfish and lobster trade, also relies significantly on the sale of unique postage stamps and collector coins to international philatelists and enthusiasts around the globe. These niche revenue streams provide vital cash flow for importing goods that cannot be produced locally, such as specialized tools, electronic equipment, and essential medical machinery. Every single transaction, every cargo delivery, and every community gathering carries an underlying awareness of how fragile their connection to the outside world truly is. The archive. As we look deeper into the archives of human history, few places match the raw tenacity and unyielding spirit found on this remote rock. Every single day spent here is a delicate negotiation with the forces of nature, proving that the human will to belong somewhere can conquer even the most terrifying distances on Earth. Thank you for exploring history's most hidden corners with the American Archive. If you want to uncover more forgotten places, dark historical secrets, and untold stories from across the globe, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next archive.